Welcome back to Solo Spotlight. I'm your host, Ryan McDougall. And today's episode is a masterclass in what sprinting really takes. If you think the 400 meter is just 44 seconds of pain, this episode shows you it's 365 days of logistics, heat, and headspace. My guest, Austin Cole, Team Canada sprinter, a guy whose journey runs from university halls to international lanes. We get into the pipeline of how you actually go from school to Team Canada, the grind of the real season, the humidity tax, and why in this sport you're only as fast as your last race. Austin's practical blueprint, training, recovery, the boring habits that beat talent over time. And if you're a young athlete or parent, this one is for you. Just the truth from someone living it. If this helps you, drop a comment for Austin and share it with your teammate. With that, let's get into it. Episode 54, Solo Spotlight, Austin Cole. Welcome everybody, Solo Spotlight, episode 54. I'm here with Austin Cole. U of A track and field. Is it called sprinter? Would you say sprinter?
Yeah, sprinter.
It would be sprinter.
Yeah.
Holding the record right now, 300 meter. A lot of accolades. You've been on quite the journey. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I was really excited to have this, man. I don't have a lot of track and field guys come in, and especially anybody that was able to represent on like a national stage. Congratulations for that. That's a huge achievement. How you feeling today?
Not bad. I just got back from Bahamas a couple days ago.
Okay, yeah, you got a little sun.
Yeah, a little sun, but it was like a late flight too, so I'm still kind of recovering from that.
Yeah.
So a little tired, but yeah, not bad.
Is there a big time difference?
It's only 2 hours.
2 hours.
It was like a 14-hour travel day.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so hard to fly in and out of Edmonton.
Did you get any canceled flights because of the Air Canada thing?
Luckily, not on the way back. But on the way there, I actually had like a WestJet issue, and then I had to book another flight to get down there. But
that's crazy.
Yeah,
man. And the airport stuff is out of control right now. It's super out of control. But yeah, man, welcome. For someone that's just getting to meet you for the first time, just tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I grew up, born and raised in Edmonton. Actually lived in Sherwood Park, but I basically, watch out, buddy. So basically born and raised in Edmonton, grew up in Sherwood Park, was always in love with sports and everything. I would, going out to school, I'd be running, I'd be playing basketball, I'd be playing all the sports. My main one was hockey, actually, in the beginning, and I ended up choosing that and prioritizing that over all the other sports around in high school. And then I would always just run track after hockey was done, just because my coaches said I was like fast on and everything, and they said go run track, and so I went and ran track, and didn't really do any training for it. And then grade 11, or is it grade 10? I think grade 11. My coach that is coaching me now approached me, and he's like, "Hey man, if you did a little bit of training,
you'd be a rock star.
Yeah, you actually might be, fast. You might do something." Because I made provincials that year in the 200, so that's before I was a foreign runner.
Right.
Made provincials in the 200, and then my coach approached me and said, "Hey, have you trained for this?" I was like, "Okay, maybe. Like I'll think about it. I have one more year of hockey, see if that will take me to like a higher level. Like I was just always like a double A player, and I wanted to try to make triple A and go to the NHL and like live out that dream and stuff." So I thought about it for a while, and then decided I'm going to try triple A first. Went to tryouts. Fortunately didn't make it, so then I was moved down to midget double.
Yeah.
And then at that point I was like, I'll try training for track like once a week during the winter season.
Right.
Just to kind of offset it and prepare for, provincials and stuff.
Right, kind of just using it to help you with hockey.
Yeah, help me with hockey, and then also just help me like set up like provincials for high school, because that's
Right.
all I was thinking about at that time. It's like,
Did
oh,
you
I'll try to be faster next year.
at that point did you enjoy doing track and field, or was it sort of like a means to an end? Like, was there a point where like you actually like fell in love with doing it? You know what I mean? Like people
Yeah.
get into a sport and they're like, that's it.
I think with track, that hockey never gave me was that like the spotlight's all on you.
You're right.
With hockey, I was always more of the hard worker kind of guy in the corners, like a grinder kind of guy.
Right.
And I was never like one of the guys that would stick out around the whole team and go top
Yeah.
shelf. Like I wasn't that. So the spotlight was never on me during hockey as much as I felt.
Right.
And then with track, especially once I started to really like do well, I all of a sudden saw this as an opportunity to just like everything that I put into it gives me like just like I get rewarded from it. Like I
Right.
could see like
It pays off like
yeah,
immediately.
I could see that like I could see it. And with hockey, you could work hard, do all the training and stuff, but it might not like return.
Right.
You might get the return of value. Does that
Right.
make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I could see that with hockey or with track rather right away, and that's when I kind of started falling in love with it more.
Yeah.
Because initially I was like very nervous because it's all in you, right? It's like,
Right.
And I have no training, and I'll go against these guys that have been training in track, like especially in like grade 11 and grade 10 when I first started like going to like provincials and stuff. It was just like I could tell how like these guys are ready, and I'm like just stopping on the track. I don't even have spikes. Like I'm so I got really nervous at that time.
What was a big thing that you had to like learn? What was like the biggest difference between that and hockey that kind of like you said to yourself like, oh, okay, I'm gonna really have to learn this quick?
What do you mean by that? Sorry,
Just like in terms of like a mentality, or just like a way people behaved, or like type of equipment, or like understanding. Was it a knowledge thing?
Oh yeah, I think it was like the warm up actually, like warming up for a track. I didn't know before I started training with my coach about like how the warm up should be for a track. It's like because it's like an hour long warm up to get yourself
Right.
ready to run fast. Like in hockey, we just go run up the stands a little bit, do a couple stretches, leg swings, and then get into your gear, and then go on the ice and skate around a little bit, and we call that pretty much you're warmed
Yeah.
up. And then when I first my first practice on the track with my coach, we did like an hour long warm up. Like, is this the workout? Like
Yeah.
he's
You're
like, no, we're just starting the workout now. Like we're just starting now.
You're like, oh my.
Yeah, so I was like, that was a big learning curve. It was like, once I figured that out, like once I learned that like that's what you need to do before a race and everything to warm up, and I feel like that was like the biggest challenge, not the challenge, but the biggest learning curve, I guess.
What's like the pipeline for like getting to where you were at in high school to like leveling up? Like is it simply like high school to university to like a national stage, or was there like competitions, or like was there like people scouting you?
Yeah.
How did that work?
So like luckily the coach that I was talking to is the U of A, was a University of Alberta coach as well.
Okay.
And so it kind of tied in really nicely, because like he would see me at practice every day, and he wasn't a sprint coach. He wasn't the head coach, so he would be able to talk to the head coach, and like
That was kind of your in.
Yeah, head coach would see me and stuff, and so that was grade 12, I guess, when I started that. And then once I got to outdoors, like hockey was done, and I just fully focused on track, and then I actually ended up winning provincials that year.
Okay.
And so it was just like a quick snap, and then basically what I'm trying to say, I guess, is like the levels of getting into track. Like if you want to go, basically it's from
High school?
From high school, rather, yeah. From high school, you go to these competitions. You got like high school provincials, and then there's like junior nationals as well.
Okay.
And then there's like meets in between those two. Those are like the kind of the biggest in at that age group.
Is there any like track and field without going to university? Like, would you be able to do it? Like, how someone could go to university like NCAA for basketball, or they could go play in Europe.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
is there like a comparison?
Not quite. Like, Only if you're like the best of the best. Like if you
Okay.
are like running 9.9 or like 44
What
out
does
of
that
high
mean?
school. So 9.9 is like a time
Okay.
in the 100. Like sub 10 is like one of the standards.
Okay.
Is like sub 10, sub 20, and sub 45, sub 44 even. Those are like the like well-known track and field standards for sprinters that
Okay.
like you can go pro. You can sign a contract and go pro, and then you don't really have to go to college because
Right.
you have the funding and you
Right.
got it down. You're running fast already.
Right.
So that's like kind of the like thing. If you're like number one, you could probably don't have to go to college, but then again, you miss out on your tuition and stuff getting paid for sometimes.
Getting into
Yeah,
education,
yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. So did you know you were gonna like? Did you already have it in your mind? Like, so you win provincials.
Mm.
Did you go back to any of these other sports like hockey, anything like that, or was as soon as you won provincials, you were like, all right, this is it?
I think like with talking with my coach and stuff, he was telling me that hey, you might be able to like try to get your grades up because you might be able to go to university with a scholarship. And so when I realized that maybe my hockey career was coming to an end, I kind of started to dive into that and lean into that more.
Yeah.
Um, Initially, my plan was actually going to NATE for power engineering.
Okay.
And I did get accepted into that, but then with the track success kind of occurring at the same time, it kind of just made me change plans, change gears, like just like that,
Yeah.
and just kind of took off from there. So I didn't actually think that I was going to go to university. I was going to go into the power engineering and work into that in that field and then energy field, and then everything kind of just swapped because I wanted to stick with sport.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't really want to give up sport because that's what I'm all about. That's what
Yeah.
I've been growing up with. That's part of my
And getting into there, it's definitely a whole different ball game in terms of like being a student athlete. Like I went to university for soccer,
hmm
and like trying to keep the grades up and go into course and like everything like that on top of the requirements of being a student athlete. How did you adjust to that?
Yeah. What
Did you
university?
find yeah
What
Mount
university?
St. Vincent University?
Where's
It's
that?
in Nova Scotia.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so that's where I moved here from like 7
Okay.
years ago.
Yeah.
But I was there for 3 years, and then I didn't make the team on the third year. So then I was like,
Okay.
"Fuck this, I'm good."
You're good.
Yeah, I was like, now I'm taking my courses online and stuff.
Right.
But even when I played on the team, it was like, well, you're traveling, well, you're practicing 3 days a week. You're traveling every weekend for games. We're
Mhm.
going between here, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick, and PEI, playing. And I got barely any playing time. So I was just like redshirting.
Mhm.
So it was kind of, so then I had to weigh out
tough.
like, yo, I'm barely passing my courses because I'm
Yeah.
always gone, and I can't get any studying done on a bus full of the whole soccer
yeah,
team
yeah.
and the whole female team. So like they're always just hooting and hollering, and so then you come back and you're like, oh, I have a midterm, but I have to practice and this and that. That was like the biggest challenge that I faced.
No, for sure. Yeah.
How did you? What are you going for? What's like your major?
I already graduated, so
Okay.
I've been done for since 2022.
Okay.
I took kinesiology.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I want to kind of go into physiotherapy or chiropractor like after I'm done with my track career.
Right.
So that's kind of like the stepping stones. Like
Right.
kinesiology is a degree that you need another degree with. basically.
Right,
Pretty
right.
Usually, or you go into personal training and
And then that's kind of where
yeah.
you sit for
yeah.
a bit.
Yeah. But
So you go to university.
yeah.
You clearly were able to succeed as a student athlete. What kind of opportunities did you get through like your track and field? You obviously broke the 300-meter record. What was that day like?
Yeah. So are we talking about the school record?
Yeah.
So the school record, that was my rookie year.
Yeah.
That day was pretty special because it was at the national championships too, and that was also at home. And so this is my first year running, and I get to compete at home. And I didn't realize how special it was at the time,
Right.
because like it was my first year. I didn't really realize like when you compete at national somewhere else, it's just you don't have the fans coming in to supporting you and stuff. But yeah, that moment was like really special. I remember I ran the same time as my PB in the heats, and then I just knew that the final, like I was ready to run. I come off the corner, the last corner I remember, and I was like third. And I was like, oh no, I gotta go. Like I gotta go. And there's like about 50 meters in the last little bit in
Right.
the indoor track, and it literally came down to the wire. Probably, I think it was like a tenth of a second or less. And the 300, that's pretty insane. And I remember just dipping at the line, and I knew I got it. Like it's like I knew I got it, but everyone wasn't sure. And so I started celebrating, and everyone's like, I don't know. And then
Yeah, don't celebrate too early.
yeah, and then they announced it, and that kind of just flicked. Like I announced that I won, and then like thinking back about it, like that kind of moment just it made me realize that like I have like I have like real potential in the sport to grow. Like
Yeah,
as a rookie breaking the school record in the first year, I that like just helped me build the momentum that I had the year before with like provincials and junior nationals.
right.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What was it? It must have felt weird being a rookie. Like you didn't. Was there any like? How was like the locker room? Like was everybody very supportive, or were there any people that were kind of like, fuck, man?
Honestly, my teammates were awesome. They were very, very supportive with me. I'm used to like hockey where it's pretty cutthroat.
Yeah.
But here, there, everyone was pretty like, just like, oh man, you got to keep going. Like you have something special. Like they're just continuously congratulating me, and they didn't. I didn't feel any envy from anybody.
No.
Whereas in hockey, if you do well, I could feel.
You could feel some people
little bit
being
of banter
like,
back and forth.
that
and
should have
stuff.
been
And
me.
I think that honestly that led to a lot of what happened, like my success in the further years as well. It was just the teammates and the people I had around me, because they see me in training every day, and they're working as hard and they push me, and that honestly like probably led to most of my success because of the environment I had around me. And that's still even today, like that's something that's pushing me to be better, is just the environment you have around you.
Right.
And so I really think that that my teammates, like I owe it all to them, honestly.
Did you, since you win it in your rookie year, is there any like, did you kind of set yourself up for like more pressure situations? Because like you came out of the gate so strong that you were like, oh, I got to re-up next year, and I got to re-up next year.
Yeah.
And like, if I don't, then like people are going to say this is the fall off.
Right. Yeah, a little bit. Honestly, in my rookie year, I always thought of myself like the underdog. Like no one knows who I am.
Right.
Like I'm not supposed to win this, so I had a little bit less pressure. And then leading up to that, like I won the championship. I was like, now I have more to lose.
Yeah.
And then the next year, again, now I have more to lose. So like that was 2017, 2018, 2019. Those 3 years, I went back to back to back, and that was kind of like you're saying, just like every year was like a little bit more pressure, a little bit more pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially like the people congratulating you and everybody on your side, you're like, well, I also can't like screw it up for them. Like
Right.
they're riding on my back. Like everybody's putting in work, but like, everybody's hyping you up. Now the expectation is real.
No,
right?
Yeah, you have to live it. Like if you're gonna say these things and they're looking up to you. You have to live it, and you have to put it out. And you say that you work hard. You got to go to the track and work hard, and live up to your expectations. Right?
What were some things that you did to like keep yourself like quote unquote grounded? Did you have any like rituals or any like pregame things that you had to do that was like, even if it was like superstition, was there anything like I gotta wear the same pair of socks to every?
Not so much like superstition or anything. I just knew that every race I ran, I could get beat. And
Right.
So it's like, just because I've run this fast in the past doesn't mean I'll run fast again.
Right.
And so you have to show up every race, or else, like that could you could get beat, and that could ruin you know, it could ruin your reputation, ruin your confidence,
Mm-hmm.
ruin your season right off the bat, right? So it's like you have to show up at ready to run your best all the time.
What's the biggest injury that like someone that's doing like sprinting would face? Like, what's the most common injury that would happen to someone?
A lot of hamstring issues for sure, like pulled hamstrings and stuff. And then, you know, what I've experienced personally even is stress fractures.
Mm.
Those are my biggest injuries because they take so long to heal,
Yeah.
and you can't do any sort of training, really, any high impact training
No.
for track. And so because like with hamstring issues, you can still do some, like, you know, strength training for other muscle groups and stuff. And but with a stress fracture, you kind of have to stay off of it.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, and then like, yeah, that's something like that, because then everything just like you just start losing like your muscles.
Yeah.
And
Well, you just start sitting there and you're not doing anything. And then the biggest thing with the stress factor is you when you start to come back, you got to start really slow.
right.
And if you have a little bit of pain in there, you got to take a step back. And then you
Yeah.
have to wait again, and then go again. And it's, for me, that actually that happened in 2019 fall. I had stress fracture in my shin that lasted for like 6 months because I would try to come back after the 8 weeks.
And you were just so ready to go.
Yeah, try to come back after the 8 weeks, following what the doctor told me, and do get like 2 weeks of good training in, and all of a sudden, boom, I started feeling pain again. So I got to step back.
Oh, that would be
Yeah.
so annoying.
So it happened.
And you're like,
and then-
motherfucker,
I
man.
know. Yeah, exactly. Man.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, that was probably like mentally the hardest time in my track career. Like, it was just, you try to get going and you start losing trust in your body. Like,
And then you're like, is this it? Like,
Yeah.
am I just gonna hit this wall every time? Like every time I do it,
Mhm.
I'm just hitting the same injury. And then you're like, oh, is this like my injury prone phase of like,
yeah.
oh, here we go again.
And that was 2019 fall leading into 2020 Olympics.
Right.
So that was before all this COVID stuff happened. But
Right.
we were literally like, I was literally just thinking, like, seeing my Olympic dream
Right. Just fall off.
from me. And so mentally I'm like, I need to start training now in order to be good
there.
for then. But then I'm still injured. I can't train. I can't
Mhm.
I can't run. I can only do like swimming. That's
Right.
not gonna get you. You can only get so far with that.
100%.
Um,
So you made it through that though.
Yeah,
And
luckily.
so you graduate university, and this is where like the Olympics and stuff is like starting off for you? Like, how did you bridge that gap of like, is it like a selection process? Like when you're getting selected for the national team, I'm sure it's a mix of like tryouts, invitations, this and that. But how did that storyline look for you?
Yeah, so there's like a bunch of different national teams, right? There's some junior national teams, and then there's senior national teams, and now they even have like U23 national teams, kind of just like age group as well.
Right.
And to go with that, there's like different standards set by like World Athletics, like the federation body,
Uh-huh.
and then Athletics Canada also has their standards as well. So there's different standards you can either run, or, you know, different points and stuff like you can get to make those teams.
Uh-huh.
The way it worked out for me was my junior year, or my first year running track there, my rookie year in 2017. I made the junior Pan Am team.
Okay.
So that was my first introduction to running internationally.
Okay.
And that was in Trujillo in Peru. So it was
Okay.
like a pretty big meet, like pretty big, to like going to a whole different continent, like my first exposure to that and stuff.
Did you do like a lot of traveling before, or was sports really your introduction to traveling?
Track was definitely my introduction to traveling.
Yeah.
It's taken me all over the world. It's just
Yeah.
pretty lucky to do that.
It's
Yeah.
pretty daunting, especially going there and knowing like, well, I'm not here like leisurely.
Yes.
Like,
That's the one thing that I think a lot of people don't understand.
this isn't a vacation.
Yeah, like I'll go somewhere. Let's just say I just went to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh wow, that's so nice. Like, you probably enjoying it and like sitting on the beach and stuff." And I mean, after my race there was, but before that, you're sitting inside in the hotel room. You get to stay. You get to look around, like the island in the bus on the way to the track. You can see that stuff.
Yeah.
and you get to see the food court and that's it. You're not
Yeah.
really going exploring anything and
No.
doing stuff. And so like a lot of people always ask like, oh man, you get to see everything. And well, I don't see much. I see the hotel room, the bus, the track, and the food court.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't get to see. Maybe I get like 2 hours one day to go check something out.
Right.
Yeah.
So you go to Peru, and what was this? This was like your first like national like exposure experience.
Yeah, internationally. Yeah.
So what was the? Because it obviously must have been like a. Even though you've had all of this experience, you're doing like incredibly well, but even just like the idea of representing your country was like, okay, I got to even do more tightening up.
I mean, during that time, I was still pretty inexperienced actually.
Right.
Like, it was my first
And
year.
you're
Right?
probably
So,
still like super motivated and like,
yeah. And but I just remember when I got the gear and I'm wearing it in the airport. I'm just thinking. I actually texted my coach. This is like, my little kid dream is coming to reality right now.
yeah,
And that's what happened. Like I just felt like the whole trip I was just living out what my dream was as a kid to represent Canada. Initially, I thought I would be in hockey because that was my main sport, but now it's in track. And so, I just thought that whole experience was just really cool. I had a lot of pressure on myself because it's like I'm wearing the flag, I have to perform.
yeah,
And there's a couple other guys on that team that are really good as well. Like Marco, have you heard Marco Arop? He was also on that team. So it was like a pretty cool experience, like to look back who is on that team now and what they're doing.
yeah.
What they're doing here as well. So it's it was just a really good like way to meet people as well from that.
So then, what did you race there, and how did you perform there?
Yeah, that was I raced a 400 meters, and I was a little bit injured. I had another stress. I had a first stress fracture in my foot, and that one I didn't realize it was stress fracture. I didn't really know what was going on, but it hurt every time I ran on it. I made the final. I got 7th in the final, running like 47.4 or something like that. I can't remember the time exactly, but I was just ecstatic that I made that final based on how my foot was feeling. And then and actually the most memorable moment was the relay team in that.
Okay.
Because we had an issue where we got tripped up in the relay race, and we get to rerun the race like 40 minutes after, but it was just us. Like doing a time trial, and we're supposedly running the time that we needed to get run, but then they reinstated the team that they disqualified that tripped us up, and then we got 4th. So we thought we got 3rd, and like the whole team was there, celebrating and like going crazy, and that usually doesn't happen. Like the whole national, all the competitors were there. Just everyone was just cheering, and we had the flags going because we were like,
we got 3rd.
They really did. Like they ran by themselves and got 3rd, and I thought that was really cool to see everyone just like coming together for that. But then unfortunately, we didn't get it. But
so when you go and as like a track and field athlete, how many competitions on average would you like? So you do relay, you do 400 meter. So what would be your wheelhouse when you go to like a competition? Do you have like a primary, like this is what I'm really good at, and like these other things are still my responsibility? But like so you run the 400 meter, but then you also run relay. Do you always do a relay?
So that depends. Like it depends if you're running for a college team, especially in the U.S. Those colleges, like they run the shit out of their athletes.
Yeah.
So they'll have them run the 200, 400, 4x4, 4x1,
right,
all in one weekend.
Right. To
get points for the national championship or whatever, right? So they'll do a lot of running.
Big risk of injury though.
Yes, that's why a lot of people that go down to the States don't usually come back, or they do very well. Either it's kind of like
one or the other.
It's kind of like one or the other.
You can't really coast.
Yeah, there's not really. So I think that it kind of depends. Like if you're a university athlete, you're going to be running a lot of events. But then if you're more on the professional side or semi-professional, or just running by yourself, you're just gonna focus on your event mostly, and you can use the other events to kind of help your main event. Like for me, I use the 200 to work on my speed.
Right.
For the 4, because 400 is my main event.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So do you have to when you're like basically just like an athlete that got selected for this team?
Okay.
Is there like, do you go to your coach and be like, I want to do the 200, I want to do the 400, and is there like a qualifying thing?
Are you talking about for national teams?
Yeah, or like whatever, or is there like certain standards that you have to get to in order to like qualify for that, or just anybody on the track and field team can be like, yeah, he's gonna do 400, even though even though it's not necessarily like his thing. Like, is there a certain like level of like, yeah, he's really good at the 200, but he'll suck at the 400. So like, we just never let him do the 400. He always does the 200. But then if one day he was like, I'm going to do it, it's like, okay.
No, typically there's like standards. Like, even for different meets and stuff, like even at the college level, you have to run a certain standard to get into that race.
Okay.
So you have to, let's just say, to get into a race, you have to run 21 flat in the 200. So,
yeah.
But you run like 23, you're not going to get in that race. Right?
Right.
But let's say even though you run 23 seconds, you run like a 46, you'll more likely get in the 400 in races.
Right.
It's like the different track meets have different standards, like anywhere you go. It's not really consistent except for at the world stage.
Right.
Right. For national team stuff, like, if you get selected to go run the 400, you're running the 400 no matter. You're not running any other race because you only qualified for that.
Okay.
Right. And then basically, if you like, there's only 2 type of relays. There's a 4x4 and a 4x1. Let's say if I'm for the world's team, right? If you make the 100 meters and you're going to the worlds for 100 meters, you are in the relay pool to run for the relay team. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of stuff that they base off around who gets to run on the day. But there'll be like 6 or 7 guys that go to Worlds to be on the relay team. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so same thing for me. Like, there'll just be like 3 or 4 guys that get to go to Worlds for the 4x4 relay team.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there much like internal competition of like people vying to get sent, or can you send like as many people to run that qualify, or is it usually like one person per team is like running the 400, or can you have 2 guys run the 400 on the same team?
For like Canada and
yeah
stuff? Yeah, you can have I think it's like 2, no, you can have 3 per country at Worlds per event. And then like it can get a little bit more into the unlaned events that you can have more, but in the lane events it's like 3 per country.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So for Canada, right, like they usually don't have the depth to have 3 people at Worlds.
Right.
So it's a little bit different, but in the US you have to have 3 people will go no matter what, and so like the nationals is what decides that. The trials, the nationals. If you get top 3, you get to go.
Okay, and then if you don't, you don't.
Yeah, if you don't get top 3, you'll maybe get selected for the relay pool, but you're not running the individual.
And they don't have like backups. It's like if you get injured like day of, it's like that's just one spot gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no like red shirts or anything. You just have to.
No, because just the way the qualification works is that like you can't.
Because that person, whoever is the backup, just didn't qualify.
They didn't qualify, so you can't sub them in. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's like even the pressure on you to like maintain your health and like, because then it's like, oh, there goes like that opportunity to.
No, for sure. Yeah, like that happens all the time. With athletes at the world stage, they're trying to push more, and because they're pushing more, they ended up injuring themselves, or just like late in the season as well. Like so, your body's getting a little bit worn down. You have these like late season injuries, and it's like really tough because this is like the biggest part of the season. So.
Well, and probably the biggest part of their like journey as well. Like this is like the top of the ladder. It's like, so if it's just like all that work and preparation, and then like a freak injury could happen, and it's like nothing anybody could have done, but it's still kind of hard to deal with.
It's hard. It's very hard to deal with. And then people in track, like if you get injured or if you have a bad race, like immediately everyone's looking at you like, oh, this guy's done now. He's done.
Oh,
He's like, it's like you're only as fast as your last race in
right.
track. It's very, very quick.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The outlook on people, like the outlook is you're only as fast as your last race.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you take that type of pressure? Because you even talk about with hockey that like you're able to like displace that pressure across like a team where it's like, how do you ensure that you're not like being too hard on yourself or not like, you know what I mean? How are you making sure that you're like kind of like taking it all in without being like, if I fail, I'm a loser?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Honestly, when I was young, that's what was going through my head for like the majority of the time. Like going through, I was like I can't lose this race. You can't lose, right? Like it was all on the line and stuff. And I wouldn't really enjoy the moment sometimes because I would be thinking about that stuff too much. So I have had to learn like to kind of take a step back and like realize like I get to go here and race against all these people that I watched growing up.
Right.
And like just like realize that this is a great opportunity and enjoy the moment more. Like it's something that I have had to learn for sure.
Yeah. Well, and I think when you get older as well, like it's easier to like understand that, and it's easier to have that like mental maturity.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like you have so much pressure. Like I can just think about like the pressure of like, not only is it like your training and the way that you kind of handle the training, it's also like, oh, I'm like representing my country, and like things are recorded and like, on television and stuff like that, where it's like it's just a bigger game. My next question, we kind of talked about this before the interview, but kind of how do you, especially getting out of university, how do you make sure that you're still like earning like livable wages and stuff like that? Is there any like things that you had to prepare for, or like do you have to do things different in order to like make sure your rent's paid and make sure like you're having money for coaches and stuff like that?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, basically it's a little bit, track is a hard world for sponsorships and for funding and stuff. Only the top of the top can get some. There is some funding with Athletics Canada, like the Federation and Sport Canada, that give you some monthly stipend. But you have to kind of meet these certain standards and withhold them for a certain amount of years and stuff. If you have one bad year, you can get taken off. I was luckily on that during 2019, 2020, but I had a couple bad years, so I got taken off of that.
Mm-hmm.
So going forward, I've had to pay a lot of stuff out of pocket. Luckily, there is a support group here called TOP in Edmonton, and it's like talent optimization program. And there's like a fund that is based off the 2001 World Championships that was hosted here. It's called the Legacy Fund, and they have a lot of reimbursatory funds for athletes in the Edmonton area. So I'm luckily able to have that support. In regarding to like rent and stuff that gets paid for, I am a server at Joey Sherwood.
Okay.
So that's like very flexible for me. I'm able to work the minimal amount of shifts I need to, or as much as I want to, basically,
right.
Because it's serving, right? It's
right.
really flexible. Basically, how I prepare my season to make sure I'm ready is that during the off season and during like the fall term where we're just like training and we're not racing, I'm working a lot. I'm working a ton. I'm trying to save up as much money as I can because I know during this time of the year I'm not going to be there. I'm not working as much.
Right.
So I try to build up a big savings and kind of just live off that for the last like part of the season, and then like rinse and repeat. That's kind of what my strategy has been. It's been working, and I'm hoping that I'll have my breakthrough, and I'll get some more funding, some more sponsorships as well to make that kind of part easier as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So with the sponsorships and stuff, is that just more of like getting on that like the national stage and getting more like exposure?
For sure. Getting on the national stage, competing at big meets and performing well, and then running certain times as well is going to help you. Sponsors love seeing you on TV, winning, wearing their gear, right? And it's just very, very cutthroat in track.
Right.
Especially nowadays, I feel like, because we're also competing against like influencers.
Yeah.
You know, why would a brand sponsor you if you only have like, say, 2,500 followers like myself? Or wouldn't they want to sponsor someone that has like 30K followers? Like that's like an easier thing for them.
For them, they just get way more exposure.
Yeah, way more ROI on
100%
on their investment.
Yeah,
so.
and I think like when you look at that, it's more of that's kind of more of a thing too, where you look at a lot of athletes and like the responsibility to like put yourself as like identify with that, as well as like make yourself promotable. It's like that probably never was something that you really had to do. It was like, well, once I make it here, it's like, yeah, people will come knocking. And now it's like, now you have like this whole other job of like, well, how do I make myself marketable? How do I like get myself out there and like have like a social media following, or do these things that are gonna like build up like a reputation that I could like handle whatever like media requirements would be. Because I think that's a big thing, like especially with athletes, like it's, yeah, they probably would give me a lot of like like I would be able to give them a lot of sponsor money, but like, are they good on camera? Are they going to be able to like advertise my stuff? Or like they just like, is all they know track and field?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly,
like, so it's really interesting. I think like technology definitely like changed the game with a lot of things.
For sure.
But you're doing it though. Like another side of it is like you're doing the coaching. And so when you look, when did you start doing the coaching? Was that in your university days, or was that something that you like developed once you got out of it?
That's just something that I kind of developed out of it. It's actually something that I'm just starting dabbling with this summer.
Okay.
Because like you're saying, you have to kind of be in charge of like your own marketing, and I kind of just like realized that this year more so, that I just have to like, it's not going to just happen. I got to work for it. So I've been kind of working on my camera skills and my editing, and working on my Instagram, trying to build that up a bit, and then kind of seeing where that fits in my niche or what I kind of like doing. And I realized that coaching and stuff comes pretty easily for me. It doesn't like stress me out too much, like thinking about stuff. I can just it kind of clicks. So that's something I just kind of like been dabbling with this summer. Maybe I'll get into it more if time permits and stuff, as well as like it's kind of hard to do it in the winter because there's no tracks access and stuff. So yeah, it's just something that I've been dabbling with more so. Just thinking that might help be another like income stream to kind of help support going forward. And
sometimes too, like you have to consider as well as like coaching gonna like dilute your own like, because you have to like personally invest in people, and like you're trying to get the best out of them, but by doing that, are you like relinquishing a lot of like energy and like attention to what someone else is doing when you're trying to still like accomplish things at the top level? And like that's a huge balance of like, is it how much do you take on? How many people am I trying to train? Because now I'm splitting up and they have needs and they have requirements, and I have to be following up with them. And it's like, well, how can you do that and be, you know what I mean? Like it's a hard balance. So it's interesting because it's something that will probably enhance what you're doing if it's like done in the right like way.
Well, I haven't gotten to that level yet. Like I just started with that. So I haven't really found that issue. I've been still mid-season, like end of my season here, so I'm still very busy. So I've like purposely held off and diving into getting more clients and getting more stuff going until maybe the end of the season when I have time to
what's a season?
Back. Yeah, so that's the thing. Track is like a long season. We'll start training like October, November, and then typically like Worlds or Olympics is usually the end meet,
Mm-hmm.
and that's July, August, and this year it's September, which is crazy. So it's like a 10-month, 11-month season, so you don't have much time off at all. But during the like fall training, you can have you don't have to be like at your tip top race ready shape, so you can spend a little more time on other things in your life to kind
Right.
of set up the season. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you look at the next like 12 to 24 months,
Mhm.
what does that look like for you?
So next year, there's a couple major teams I want to be on, which is World Relays and Commonwealth Games. So those are the two kind of meets next year. It's a more of an off year.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2027 has World Championships again, so that's like the main goal as well. And then 2028 is Olympics. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of like the next 3 years is like the building blocks is trying to get to those major meets to set yourself up to get into the Olympics.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, because it's every
4 years.
every
Yeah.
4 years.
Yeah.
So so basically everything's just kind of like preparing you
Mm-hmm.
to get to that. But there are like meets and stuff that you go to.
For sure. Yeah, every year, like there's always meets that you kind of go to. Like, let's just take through this year for instance. January is when our indoor season typically starts in Canada, and I started racing I think second week of January.
Okay.
I had one home meet here, then I flew down to Albuquerque, and I raced twice, 2 weekends in a row there, so 4 races. Came back, had one more race in Edmonton, then I flew to Louisiana, raced there in around I think that was end of April, and then beginning of May I had a race in Florida, and then I had so sorry, did I say Florida?
Yeah.
Baton Rouge first, and then Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how many races is that? That's 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we had like a training camp for World Relays. I was luckily selected for that. That was back in Baton Rouge, and we raced there again. So it was at 7 races.
Mm-hmm.
Then I flew to China and raced twice there. So that's 10 races, and that's May 10th.
Okay.
So by May, I already have like 10 races in.
Right.
And
that's just 1 year.
And that's 1 year. And then when June I think June I had. Did I race anything after that? No, I think June I had 3 more meets there in June. July was nationals, and then
You went to Bahamas.
and then just now Bahamas.
Yeah.
So, like, there's lots of racing going on throughout the year, so it's like a long season.
Mm-hmm.
But we will have to do a big base before that, like 8 to 10 weeks of the base training where we're putting on more muscle, we're getting stronger before we get faster.
There must be a lot of like acclimation to like different. Do you find like you have to like acclimate to like different climates and stuff?
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Like, actually, unfortunately, happened to me down in the Bahamas. It was like plus 35 with crazy humidity, and we got there like, was it 36 hours before I raced? So it wasn't that much time, and my body did not handle it very well.
No.
Unfortunately. Yeah. We had like a little bit of like an hour delay. As soon as I checked in to go for my race, we had like an hour delay before I was actually racing, and I didn't know that, and my body just didn't like it at all and wasn't able to run. So I had like an hour of just sitting in the sun, not able to really warm up, keep warm, but just like sweating and
Just so
getting
sick. Yeah.
drained basically. And so yeah, acclimation is a big thing. That's why for world championship meets, like bigger meets, we go there for about 2 to 3 weeks before to get on the right time zone, to get used to the environment around us, because like these little things matter so much. It's crazy. Like in track, if you have one thing off, you can be running like really like your worst times. But everything kind of has to line up for you to be running your best times, and you have to control all the controllables you can.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Some things you just have to be like, oh, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, like you have to control everything you can, and be okay with like a couple things that you can't, right? So that means if you need to get there earlier, get there earlier. Sleep more, right? So little things like that, you have to make sure you take care of that, so that on the day, almost all these are filled, and then on the day, like one or two things are missing, that's okay. You can still perform. But like, you got to take care of those things.
When you look at someone that's getting into track and field, specifically sprinting, what is some like key pieces of advice that you give someone?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, for me, I was just approached by my coach, and I like to run with my school. I'd say, if you haven't done so already, run for your school if you're young. If you're older trying to get into it, there's lots of like meets around that you can just enter locally. You just gotta look it up online. Advice I'd have is everything that you put into the sport, you're gonna see it come back to you. If you are training hard, you're taking care of your sleep, taking care of your nutrition, you're gonna see big changes, especially if you're just starting out. And if you're not doing that, don't expect to get better.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, Austin, it was a great time sitting here talking to you. I feel like I learned a lot about track and field, and it's very motivating to see how your approach is towards the sport and how you're kind of continuing this out of university and getting to the national stage. And it's definitely a blueprint for somebody else.
I mean, it's confusing. I know track is a confusing sport where there's different standards here. Like you were saying, you go to college, or do you just go pro and stuff? I hope I provided a little bit of insight.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely
it's very
did.
Confusing.
Yeah. Man, it's always wonderful to get to sit in rooms with people like yourself and just pick your brain about it. And I'm sure you definitely left some cookie crumbs of advice and stuff for the audience. So I really thank you with that. And we're definitely going to be looking out for, you're kind of hitting the end of your season now. Do you have anything do you have anything planned for September for meets?
I'm just actually waiting to see if I get selected for the mixed relay.
Okay.
I think that's like August 24th or August 26th that comes out. So wait to see that, and then if I do, I get to go over to Tokyo.
Oh, there you go.
So fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Crossed.
We're rooting for you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And where can people find you online?
Yeah, if you want to follow my story and my journey, you can just follow me on my Instagram. That's where I'm the most active. Austin Cole _400 meter. I post daily stories, training videos, and little updates in my life as well. So.
Yeah, they'll definitely have to check that out. Austin Cole _400M, right?
400 meters. Yeah.
400 meters.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. With that concludes another episode of Solo Spotlight, episode 54. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow more. Comment below. What was the best part of this conversation? Do you have any questions for Austin? We want to hear it all. And with that, that is it. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah.